and welcome to another Adrega instructional video. Adrega has a lot of built-in reports that are useful enough for easy access, but they may not be exactly what you're after. Let's take a look at how the Adrega report wizard can help you create your reports exactly like you want, with the data you're after, and with the correct look and feel.
So let's say I want to create a new S-curve. What I need to do is go to Reporting Templates. This is where all my report templates are created. In this view, they are grouped by report type, and I can see all my different S-curves, but I don't like any one of them. I want to create a new one. To do that, I can either select an existing and copy it, but now I'm going to create a completely new template. In the templates, you can choose what type of report you want to create. There are several different types: bubbles, pie charts, stacked histograms, you have different tabular reports, Gantt charts, and so on. But for now, I want to create a project S-curve. The first page of the wizard is the fields page. There I can pick from any of these fields, or I can search to make it a little bit easier to pick the correct fields. I want to look at work fields. I can enter work, expand the work node, and what I want to look at for this tutorial is current work. And I also want to add actual work to see what was I supposed to do and what have we actually done up until this point. I also want to see remaining. Notice that the remaining curve, if you select remaining curve, that's probably not what you want in the S-curves. I want to select actual plus remaining work. The difference is that while remaining work starts at 0 at the point where you have not done any more actual work, actual plus remaining work will follow the actual curve and then add remaining on top of that. I can do different things, like I can change the colors of the curves. So I want current to be blue. I want actual to be green. And the actual plus remaining curve, I want to be red, but different red than the default red. Also, I want this stapled line instead of just the straight line here. So you can change how the curve looks here. I want to see histogram values for current and actual, and I want the color to be the same. But I don't want it for the actual plus remaining curve. Next, we go to the filtering page. If you want to run a report for all the fields available in the project, no problem. But let's say I want to filter out some of the activities or whatever. I can for instance say name, select activity name, and I do not want fields that contains operation, for instance. So this is how I can add a filter. I'm happy with running the curves from current start to current finish. So I would keep this value. And I want my report to be, let's see, last Sunday of month. So let's go to the next page. You can see there are several options here that you can edit to make the report look different. But for right now, I would just keep the default. And let's call this instructional S curve. Oh, it's hard. Like this. If I want to look at the result of my report, I can go back to the projects page. Make sure to have my project selected and pick the correct report. Once I've done that, I press Run to run the report. If I want, I can override the settings set in the template, but I'm quite happy with the settings here, so I'll just press OK. Okay, so now I have generated the report. It looks quite good, but not perfect. Let's take a look at it and see if we can do any changes. First, I think the bar colors are a little bit too massive. I want to tone them down so they don't draw too much attention. Also, the background color is white. Let's change it. You can see here that I displayed date or specific days, day numbers, instead of showing the month and the year. So let's change that as well, so it's a little bit easier to look at. Another problem is that I see decimals. I don't need that for work. Also, maybe I can divide all the work by 10 to make it a little bit easier to look at. Another problem in this curve is that I wanted to add the remaining curve, but I wanted to display underneath the actual curve. Here you can see it's printed on top of the actual curve. Let's change that as well. And if you pay close attention, if you take a look right here, you can see that while the actual curves stops here, the remaining curve is climbing a little bit more steeply. The reason for this is probably that we have saved status for this project monthly, while we selected a last Sunday of month as setting for this report. It's very important that we use the same settings in the report as the day we actually save status date in the project. So let's change that. In addition, I would like to display an image here. So let's say I want to add an image to, let's add it to K11. Yeah, K11. We can add an image. Also, let's take a look at print. Okay, so I notice in print that it displays sponsor and company. I don't have any sponsor and company, so I don't need to show that. I want to keep manager, but I want an image to display here as well. Also, I want to display the project code, but I don't need the name. So let's remove that. So back in the reporting module, I can double click this report to edit it. I don't want to go back to the templates page. Okay, so what I wanted to do is, I think these are a bit too much. Let's tone them down. And instead of using this one, let's pick, yeah, let's do this. So that it doesn't fill everything. Also, here you can see this actual plus remaining curve is actually put below the actual curve. What I want to do is move it up, because when we print out the report, we write the data in the same order. So if I move that above the actual curve, it's actually printed before the actual curve. And now we should have solved the problem with this curve be written on top of the actual curve. Okay. So I was happy with this. Let's move next. So here we can solve this problem with, we had set last Sunday of month. Let's change it to monthly. Let's change the label as well. So I pick, let me see if I can find week, no. Yeah, month and year, okay. Then I wanted to divide the work by 10. And I didn't want to show any decimals. Let me see, yeah, I wanted to add an image file. So I have already preloaded my images. And I wanted it to, what did we say, K11? Let's try that. Okay. Then I wanted to change my background color. Yeah, let's use this, just so it's not white anymore. Let me see. Okay, I think that was all the changes I wanted to make. Okay, so I did not want sponsor. Instead, I wanted manager name. And then I wanted to display an image here as well, the same image as in the report. And I can just remove this from the bottom. And then I did not want to display project name to make a little bit more room for the image. Okay, let's press next and finish. Let's generate the report once more and take a look at the result. Okay, now the report has finished generating. As you can see, no longer the actual plus remaining curve is printed on top of the actual curve. It just starts when the actual curve stops. Also, we solved this problem where the remaining curve was a bit higher than the actual curve, because now the dates, the status dates matches. We no longer have these bars that take up too much attention. We have changed the headers, so now you can see the month and the year. The values are divided by 10 and no longer have decimals. And if I go to File, Print, you can now see that I have added the image, removed the header, and now it looks okay, but I think that it's a little bit too much with these images, both of these images. So I want to remove that. Now it looks perfect. Or at least a little bit closer to perfect. I still don't like the background color, and we need to make deletion of the image permanent. And how do we do this? Well, now you probably know, so you can try it out for yourself. Good luck.